Walz's daughter admits there's enough truth in Minnesota fraud scandal. So
Okay.
I don't know that she's necessarily admitting that Walz was involved, but the daughter of, it reads, Hope Walz, the daughter of Minnesota governor and former Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, admitted there was enough truth to the alleged billion, it's way more than that, Minnesota fraud scandal while addressing her father's decision to end his gubernatorial reelection campaign.
Oh, wow.
She goes on to say he wants to get the target off Minnesota, and she says, I think there was enough truth to the fraud claim. So even his very own daughter has admitted that the fraud claim is real. Well, let's get started today. What you want to start with today, Mr. Elvin?
Well, first I'm going to start off with this Minnesota topic. So this Minnesota scandal has been going on for the past couple of months. And recently, a few days ago, Tim Walz just recently announced that he's going to be dropping out of the 2026 Minnesota's governor's race. Now, it's very interesting because he gave a dropout speech a few days ago as well. And in the speech, he really didn't take any accountability for having to drop out of the race. He blamed Trump for having to drop out of the race. He blamed the entire Republican Party for having to drop out of the race. But we all know Tim Walz is truly the reason why he had to drop out of the 2026 governor's race, because he overlooked purposefully from evidence that he overlooked billions and billions of dollars of Somali tax fraud that went on within his state. So it's kind of his fault that he had to back out of the race in the first place.
He was running the playbook perfectly.
Yeah.
The number one thing you have to do if you're a Democrat is have zero accountability. He was being a great Democrat.
Yeah, he was a great Democrat, But my thing is now, I'm wondering, did he drop out on his own will, or did the Democrat machine force him out? And I think the Democrat machine forced him out and fired him, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. I would say that's a high likelihood.
Yeah.
He's no Joe Biden. You could push.
No.
As many horrible qualities as Joe Biden had, let's just remember that man stood on business, even if his business sucked.
Yeah.
You weren't going to push him out of a race. The only reason he got pushed out of a race at the end was because he was dementia ridden. Probably didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right, exactly. But in Tim Walz's case, I think the Democratic machine sees where they can't use him as a useful idiot anymore. And so that they're just pulling the plug on him and just going to replace him with someone else.
You think they're going to hang him high? You think he's going to be the fall boy?
I'm not sure if he's going to be a fall boy, but he's definitely going to fall from grace when it comes to being a superstar within the Democratic Party.
How do you go from being the vice presidential candidate winning, 49% of the vote to 48.5, whatever it was, to not even being able to secure your own senatorial seat? How does this happen other than being a fraud? Or just being a retard.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, it's credible evidence that he knew what was going on and he just overlooked it and allowed it to continue. And now it just got out of hand and the Democrat Party just doesn't want any pieces of it. So they just kind of ridding themselves of him, replacing him with somebody else. And he might end up being the fall guy. I don't know, but I know he's going to definitely fall from the Democratic Party.
I would love to see him and Omar be the fall people. But they're too high up. They've got too much power. They got too many people on their team. But if we could put them both in burlap sacks and throw them over the plank, I'd be more than happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely would like to definitely see them go to prison. Most definitely if they...
Not enough.
You said that's not enough?
Burlap sacks
sack.
off the plank, into the ocean, shark food. That's it. That's the only way to handle people like this. We gotta do some bold... I'm telling you, we have to get so bold... Because this just isn't working anymore.
Yeah, it's very sad that they sat by and watched American taxpayer dollars being swindled down the drain, and didn't do anything about it.
How much was coming back into his campaign fund?
That's true.
Why do you not do anything about it? Because you're getting money. You're securing your power position.
Yeah,
It's an abomination to U.S. politics.
Yeah, it is. It's very sad what they've turned U.S. politics into. It's pretty sad. But I do have a video for you guys of this situation, and the video goes over the dropout speech that he gave a few days ago about dropping out of the 2026 governor's race. So brace your ears. He said a lot of bull crap. So
I haven't seen it yet. Let's
You haven't
dive
seen
in.
it yet?
Let's dive in.
all right.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Like many Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state, and it ended on a particularly sour note.
And it started with a loss.
Yeah.
An organized group of criminals have sought to take
Who put your tie on?
generosity.
Your mommy?
And even as we make progress in the
at
fight
that
against
crooked-ass tie.
fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of a crisis. I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family. They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford child care.
Best place in the country
And they
to
have
raise
no
a
intention
family.
of stopping there.
Wow.
Make no
Is
mistake.
he smoking?
We should be concerned about fraud in our state government.
Definitely.
We cannot
You weren't.
effectively deliver
But he wasn't out. He
services
overlooked it.
if we can't earn the public's trust.
Overlooked.
That's why over the past few
Hey,
years,
yeah, on purpose.
we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've hired people we fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government.
Seen people go to
We
jail.
saw
You've also
widespread
seen people
criminality.
pardoned who were convicted.
We put new
Yeah.
locks on the doors of our remaining programs. And we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken. All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front
Just what we
line
need, more administrators at
defending our
work.
state's program.
Right.
And I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single
You don't say.
taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder.
How is calling out fraud
We've got Republicans here
gamesmanship?
in the
I have no idea.
It's informing
playing
the
hide and
public.
seek with potential whistleblowers.
So it's interesting because he says that his administration did a lot to combat this and fight the scandal, but it seems to me like if you have 250 million plus even up to 9 billion in fraud within your state, I don't know how much fighting you actually done
Well, as
to
we
prevent
discussed,
anything.
and as we discussed last week, they were letting him know. There were reports made to his office,
Yeah, it was reports made to his office.
and those reports went on.
Yes, according to state officials within his own state, the
They didn't go. They
reports
were
that-
uninvestigated.
Yeah, they were uninvestigated by his administration. They were overlooked purposefully. So it seems to me that his administration didn't do that much to try to combat this issue. So I think in this speech, he's just trying to save face to make it look like his administration did something. So it's pretty funny.
There's no saving face for this cat.
Oh, no, it's
We've
not.
got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking
Hey, he's calling us out.
to our children. We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals.
Why? Why any walk of life? Why any person? Shouldn't it be American citizens? There's your problem.
The career
Yeah, that's the big problem.
There's your problem. They don't give a shit about you or your state.
That's crazy. So I'm going to jump to the part where he gives his concession speech here, where he's dropping out.
Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor. And I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win the race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign.
His head gets real jerky when he starts lying.
That I spend
Yeah, it does.
defending my own political interest would be
Just
a minute
whipping
I
that
can't spend
thing.
defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity.
So, all in all, he said he comes to the conclusion that if he ran, he probably could win, but he just can't do it right now because he has too much going on. But if he thought he could win, why not just try it and try to win?
Because he knows if he runs and his handlers know if he runs,
Yeah.
there will be the first Republican in I don't know how many years. I don't know, but I'm sure it's been a while.
Yeah, they know that if he did actually decide to run, it'd pretty much be another Kamala Harris 2.0, where he would get blasted in the media.
He's just tired of losing
Oh, yeah.
elections.
Yeah, he just he knows that it's too much scrutiny behind his name right now, and if he ran for an election right now at this moment, he wouldn't win at all.
No, zero shot. Zero shot.
Yeah, he knows that, so he's kind of saving face and lying in his speech. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to hear that speech and how he pretty much didn't take any accountability for being the reason why he had to drop out of the race and just blamed everyone but himself, So it was just crazy. Now, I do have some more interesting news on this topic. Now, also recently in the past couple of days, the Trump administration have ramped up ICE agents within Minnesota, and they ramped up Homeland Security agents within Minnesota. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I hate it. It's terrible. It's
You say, yeah.
Oh, it's so awful.
You say,
So awful. Oh, it's not good. No, it's great. Clearly Minnesota has a huge issue. And I honestly think that more importantly than ramping up ICE there, we need to start looking into denaturalizing individuals. Anyone involved in the fraud, and I'm not just talking the people who were conducting it, making the billions or hundreds of millions or millions, whatever the case. I'm talking about even those individuals in the community that were receiving an envelope with money in it from these different places, whether it be the food places or the childcare places. Those individuals need to be denaturalized as well. They were part of fraud. We need a RICO case brought up.
Yeah, true.
And we need to start rounding up these people.
Yeah.
A RICO case solves it, and it also instills fear into the other people across the country committing this type of fraud that we aren't going to allow it. A federal RICO charge is needed.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. We do need something like that, like a federal RICO charge.
And I don't know who's at the head of it, and I don't know that it really matters. You can have a RICO charge without having an ultimate singular head. There can be multiple heads to the snake.
Right.
So I think that's what needs to be done, and if that doesn't happen, I won't be surprised.
No, I won't be surprised if it doesn't happen because it rarely happens at all now. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise to me at all. People like him, people on the same level as him, politicians, high stakes people, they barely ever see the hand of justice.
Well, it's eat another black pill.
Yeah, another black.
Keep it moving.
But at least we've seen a little movement with the FBI going after this scandal, because usually in previous administrations we wouldn't see anything of such like this with going after a scandal like this,
Yeah.
So at least we've seen a little bit of movement. Oh, you got something on Walz's daughter?
Yeah, let's see here. Article reads, let me go ahead and pull this up here. Walz's daughter admits there's enough truth in Minnesota fraud scandal. So
Okay.
I don't know that she's necessarily admitting that Walz was involved, but the daughter of, it reads, Hope Walz, the daughter of Minnesota governor and former Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, admitted there was enough truth to the alleged billion, it's way more than that, Minnesota fraud scandal while addressing her father's decision to end his gubernatorial reelection campaign.
Oh, wow.
She goes on to say he wants to get the target off Minnesota, and she says, I think there was enough truth to the fraud claim. So even his very own daughter has admitted that the fraud claim is real.
Yeah, she's admitting that herself.
Now, I'm sure she's not going to throw dad under the bus, but she even is admitting it. And at first, he was kind of pushing back against it, acting like it wasn't a big deal. So,
Yeah, he was.
So,
And the fraud occurred under his watch, so it has a lot to do with his administration. So he can try to save face all he wants to, but I mean, it's going to be hard to reflect the blame off of him, given that it was during his watch, So
absolutely. I think it's time, though. I think we need to take a moment, everyone. sit back, relax, and let's just give a big thank you. A big thank you. Nick Shirley says on X, January 5th, I ended Tim Walz. It is the last waltz, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. Nick Shirley taking full credit for ending it.
Full credit.
I don't know that he's wrong.
I don't think he's wrong at all. When he did that documentary going around to those different daycares and exposing the truth, I truly think he did end his career.
Sometimes it's good to eat a little humble pie, but this time he can save it for later.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing because now we have independent media that can actually go out in the streets and do things like this. Because I don't know if you saw how CNN tried to discredit him, but it's like, why are you trying to discredit a person that's doing a job that you won't do? CNN won't go out to the streets and try to find and get to the bottom of the issue. You know what I mean?
It's not true journalism.
Yeah, it's not true journalism.
No.
So it's great that we can have true journalism now and expose things of this nature.
Well, I've seen that all the kids are now showing up. There's kids showing up, at least a few kids showing up to these places now. But we all know Minnesota came out and said that, it's not. They came out and basically said, we've investigated it. It's not true. These places are operating successfully. But
well, that's investigating herself.
Yeah. Imagine a judge being the judge, jury, and arresting officer himself. The charges aren't going to stick.
Right. No, the charges are not going to stick at all. No, you need an outside party to come in and investigate them to see if there's any wrongdoing. And that's what the federal government is doing right now. They're the outside party. They're coming in and investigating them. And they're seeing if any scandal took place. And so that leads me into the ICE agents that have been ramped up and the Homeland Security agents that's been ramped up in Minnesota. I do have a video for that because that's a perfect segue. Let's go to that video.
So ICE is now on the ground in Minneapolis conducting a massive investigation into child care and other widespread fraud as DHS and the FBI ramp up a statewide crackdown. Federal prosecutors say that the total fraud in Minnesota could ultimately be more than $9 billion. ICE Director Todd Lyons joins us now.
That is a lot.
Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to bring your attention to this. This is a stat that we got from the Attorney General. 98 individuals were charged.
I can't remember his name, but I know he's really good.
Those charged are of Somali descent, and we know that some of this money was going
87, 88% of those charged are
Somali descent. Yeah,
but we have to look out for our Somali neighbors. Oh,
yeah, it's crazy that 85 of them are Somali descent.
Go home.
And of the end of that, the individual charge is 98. So that's a very close relation.
Yeah, clearly they are in charge of this.
Yeah, clearly, definitely.
And of course, criminal activity.
Yeah, it is a family business.
What can you tell us about what you're learning on the ground there?
Hey, Lawrence, good seeing you. Yeah, so ICE has been on the ground in Minnesota for a while now looking at these fraud claims. And one thing now the Homeland Security Investigation Special Agents are looking into is just that you said, that money trail of where this money is going to foreign aid. Obviously looking at any type of links to any criminal activity, obviously terrorism activity, and one thing you will see is that ICE is actually out there going with criminal warrants to conduct these investigations. So all too often you hear that ICE is just out there terrorizing the community or conducting administrative work. We've been on the ground in Minnesota conducting criminal investigations.
Good.
And Homeland Security investigations.
So they're going with arrest warrants.
Gone door to door to a lot of
it sounds like they are.
fraud sites all over St. Paul and Minnesota, and we're learning a lot.
Denaturalization.
This is what the governor is saying in response to this in a statement. The governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight. Governor Tim Walz.
He has strengthened oversight, working so hard for the man.
And it wasn't until your
he's such a liar,
as well as the president's
such a
leadership
liar,
that you guys start serving these criminal warrants. So
and did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said?
What?
He said it wasn't until the president's leadership and this guy right here leadership that they even started serving criminal warrants. It wasn't even under Tim Walz's leadership that they started serving criminal warrants.
So there were no criminal warrants being served by ICE before?
Yeah, pretty much no criminal warrants were being served until Trump and Trump's director of ICE stepped in and started serving criminal warrants. So all this talk that Tim Walz does about I've done this, I've done that, I've tried to fight the fraud. He hasn't done absolutely anything.
You really trying to sell me on Trump the last couple weeks, aren't you?
Oh,
Yeah, I see your move. I see your move.
no, I definitely. Oh my goodness.
All right, run it. I know.
You know, Lawrence, what we're seeing is there's always a tide when it comes to sanctuary jurisdictions where you can hide in plain sight. You see a lot of these fraudsters use a lot of the sanctuary rules and sanctuary protections to, enact in criminal fraud just like this. Secretary Noem has had us up in Minnesota.
Him, his big dumb head.
We had Operation Twin Shields with the
punch.
FBI, CIS, and Homeland Security investigations. We were in September and November. We've been on the ground for so.
And I would say that's one of the biggest faults that we have. We need to get rid of a lot of these sanctuary states because they have policies where they can just protect certain individuals and nothing happens. And it's things like this fraud, this taxpayer fraud, this can fester and keep happening. You know what I mean?
So my question is, what happened to defunding all cities with sanctuary status and states? What happened to that? Weren't we supposed to be defunding those states and cities?
I think I did hear about that. Was that?
I think that was a campaign promise from the Trump administration.
Was that a campaign promise?
I believe so.
Okay.
Why aren't we utilizing that?
I have to look into that.
I guess there's only so much he can do because the money's not allocated by the president; it's allocated by Congress. So
right, so it's probably only so much he can block, and then I'm pretty sure, even if he issued that, some federal judge, especially in like a California type area, something of that nature, put an injunction on it.
Right. Yeah.
So I would have to look more into that and see why that hasn't really taken effect that much. But I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines that blocked that. Yeah.
So long looking into these states that are conducting these type of material fraud. And when Homeland Security Investigations goes into these businesses, there is criminal activity when it comes to labor trafficking, child trafficking, human exploitation.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what we're looking.
There is where you see a little bit of crime.
Yeah.
You see a lot of crime. So, it's just like when it comes down to why do police pull people over for minor traffic infractions so frequently? It's because when they pull those people over for minor traffic infractions, that's how they get to the bigger crime.
Yeah. They might have drugs in the car or something of that nature.
So yeah,
human trafficking.
While we might be just seeing fraud, which is no minor crime by any means.
No.
What else is going on? Is there sex trafficking going on? Is there child trafficking going on? Is there like, clearly there's probably labor activity going on, illegal labor activity.
Definitely.
These people aren't issuing paychecks to their employees.
Right.
So that means they're paying them cash under the table. That's tax evasion.
Yep, tax evasion.
There's so many other crimes that are associated with any criminal network. So this should be really an easy RICO case to develop for them.
It really should be an easy RICO case. I think they just need good concrete evidence.
Who would have to bring that case about?
A case against Tim Walz?
Against the federal RICO case. That would have to be Pam Bondi.
Yeah, because she is the head. So, yeah, that would have to be Pam Bondi. Yeah, she's the attorney general.
Just like that, my hope's gone.
Yeah.
Up there in
you took my hope, too.
And you always come back to these sanctuary jurisdictions where you'll find them, like, again, hiding in plain sight and using those sanctuary protections to employ, not only illegal aliens, but conduct criminal fraud just like you're seeing right now.
It's unbelievable. I want to get your reaction to this, Mr. Director. This is
his
the
beard's
mayor
good.
of Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's clean.
Man, that
This is
beard.
what she had to say about Latino
black man
border
beard.
agents.
It is
Look at
dark.
this straight ass hair.
Well, in a way, I think it's sad. I think that those Border Patrol agents are going to have a difficult time when they're out in the field and they see what actually happens in real life, separate from their training. But I do understand that their primary incentive is financial.
Mayor Bass.
What's your response to that, Mr. Director?
Those are just sad comments. The men and women of ICE are all from all nationalities. We have so many that are first-generation Americans that just want to serve their country.
I think you hate that lady more than I do.
And they want to be federal
I
law
do.
enforcement officers. And it's really bad to politicize law enforcement in any aspect, but to take cheap shots at the men and women who put their lives on the line every day to go out
Based
there
on our mother
and serve
love.
the nation, to make their community safe. And
I'm
it's just
sorry.
not a time and place for
My
any
baby
type of
pops out looking like
officials
that. I ain't loving it.
to use,
Getting
the fact
fed to
of
the
a
fish.
racial profiling in reverse, targeting the men and women of law enforcement.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, especially when you consider that the Border Patrol is 50%
Racial
Hispanic.
profiling.
Of course,
Almost
there's a lot
90% of the people
minorities
committing
that are
the
police
fraud
and federal
are
agents and
Somali.
ICE as
Well, when's the last time you
and
saw
you're
a black
leading with them,
Somali?
Todd.
I mean, sorry, a white Somali.
You mean a white Somali?
A non-black Somali. When's the last time?
I've never.
And this is in South Africa. There aren't any white people there.
No, it's not.
None.
You know, this has nothing to do with racial profiling at all. They just always try to throw that in there to try to throw people off the scent.
Racism.
Yeah, just to try to derail
Always.
people. They do that all the time. Just try to play race politics.
Oh.
But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That was just detailing how ICE is ramping up their agents in Minnesota and also Homeland Security. But that's all I pretty much had on that topic. Did you have anything else for that topic?
Let's see here. I think that will wind it up for me.
Okay.
Actually, one more thing. Well, let's touch on real quick. This is breaking news as of yesterday. Let's go ahead. Breaking. Elon Musk has called for Minnesota Judge Sarah West to be fired after she overturned a unanimous Somali fraud conviction. So the leftist judicial cartel just legalizes fraud and throws out cases when it's proven. So basically what's happened is these convictions that they are getting now, and she is the same judge who gave the conviction, because in the court of law, they were judged by a jury of their peers.
Okay.
They were found guilty. And she herself came out and said how horrible the fraud was. But she's now saying that we need to get to the people that are above them, because those are the real people who are causing the issues, that it's not these individuals committing millions of dollars of fraud. So she's now overturning unanimous jury convictions of fraud.
That's insane.
So once again, like you said, we're fighting the judges still.
Yeah, it's fighting the judges. The judges have, in my opinion, too much power in the United States. The Congress really needs to route their power back a little bit.
Well, that's all I got for that.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a very interesting update. Wow.
All right.
So what do you have for us next for the next topic?
Oh, let's see here.